I am Sandra Ryan. I am married to a chiropractor, and we have 3 girls, ages 11, 15, and 20. We always get a lot of questions in our office about how do you raise healthier kids? And a lot of my friends, a lot of our patients, their kids play sports. What does the team mom bring in? A case of sodas, junk food. They're surrounded by it all the time. And people always ask me, Sandy, where do you start? And I say, you make the changes little by little. The best place to start is at home. When I first said, okay, I'm gonna really give this my all. I'm gonna try and buy healthier foods, because I came from a family with 5 kids, and my mom and dad cooked with as much bacon grease as they could save, and we didn't have a healthy lifestyle. So this was all new to me, getting into chiropractic. So when I started hanging around all the other families and learning about eating healthier and trying to be as natural and drug-free as we could, it is a learning process. It's as much as a learning process for us as parents as it is for our kids. So I remember the first time I went shopping at Trader Joe's. Somebody told me, go to Trader Joe's. Not everything that they have is 100% healthy or organic, but probably 75 to 80% of their products are. So the first time I went there, I noticed that all the dairy that they sell doesn't have the hormones, the growth hormones, the antibiotics, or the BST. So when I first started shopping there, that's what I bought, because a lot of the other products were in funny boxes and I'd never heard of them. I hadn't tried them before. I wasn't sure what to do. So, when I first went there, I bought the things that I knew. And then I started making it a habit of every time I went shopping, every week or two, to pick 3 to 5 new products and take them home and try them. And it was trial and error. There were some that was, okay, we won't do that again. And there were others that my kids loved. And you look at the ingredients on the side of the box and it has like 7 ingredients and you can pronounce every one of them. That's where you start. So, if you go shopping at the store and your kids pick something off the shelf and say, can we buy this? Before I look at it, I tell my kids, look at the ingredients and let me know if I should read it. And sometimes it's so overwhelming and they can't pronounce the chemicals, or they go to the bottom and they see the preservatives and the added food colorings and they go, never mind, Mom, and they put it back. And, it is a learning process. And, I was fortunate enough to start this when my kids were younger. And I remember it was tough. I have a sister-in-law who, bless her heart, she thinks that part of being a good mom is that treat every day when the kids get home from school, whether it's stopping to get a slushie on the way home from school, where the kids have food color all around their mouth, or going through the drive-through and getting them French fries. And this is what we were competing with. And when my kids were littler, they would come to me, Mommy, how come we can't do that? So-and-so gets a slushie every day. They always get a treat. And I realized then that if knowledge is power, if I can help my kids to understand why it's harmful and why it's bad, they won't come to you. They won't beg. They could care less about the toy they get in the fast food drive-thru. So we made it a point, my husband and I, of educating the kids. We told them what was in the fast food, the chemicals that were in there, why it was harmful. And a movie came out a few years ago. You've probably heard of it, The Fast Food Nation. I sat down with my children and I said, we're going to watch this together. Oh, it's good. It doesn't matter. We're going to watch it together. You guys need to understand. Don't just take my word for it. Know why it is harmful for you. And I'll tell you one thing, when those kids sat down and watched that movie, you couldn't pay my kids to stuff a quarter pounder with cheese in their mouth. It's not going to happen, because they were appalled and they were young. But if you explain it and they understand it, something clicks. They don't want to put anything in their mouth that is junk. It's those things. It's taking an extra 60 seconds and saying, we're going to buy this and this is why. Getting them to pick up that cereal box or pick up something that they want and say, okay, you have this ice cream with all these chemicals that you can't even pronounce, with this one that has 7 things in it, and you know what every one of those things are. It's the little things like that. And it is a struggle at first when their friends are the ones that have the junk food and the Twinkies and then, the stuff that you're not going to buy. but knowledge is power. And I remember when they first got into the public schools, you know, their friends were bringing the treats, you know, the sodas in the lunch and the ding dongs and the Twinkies. And I had read some information on the preservatives and the stuff that they put in the treats. So I had this idea. So I took a package of Twinkies, I had my kids unwrap it, and I said, okay, we know what will happen to a piece of fruit if we sit it out. It's gonna rot, a piece of bread will. Nature will come and take care of its own. Let's see what happens with this, because this is what you want to eat. And we put that thing up on the top of my refrigerator, just open, sitting out all by itself, and we would check it like once a week to see what was happening. That Twinkie sat on my refrigerator for 2 years. It never changed shape. It looked brand new except for the dust on it that you would have to blow off. And my kids got it. They said, wow, it won't even biodegrade. It's not even like real food. And I'm telling you, there's no way you could get my kids to eat a Twinkie. But the thing is, it's taught them to think about what they put in their bodies. My 15-year-old's very into sports. And I tell her, listen, Lance Armstrong is one of the best of the best. Do you think he goes through the drive-thru a couple of times a week because he doesn't have time or it's not convenient? It's an excuse. Whether people know it or not, they go out of their way to be unhealthy. Whether they're saying, I don't have enough time, therefore I have to drive through here and grab this, or my weekdays are just too hectic, I have no other choice. It's eat fast food or eat nothing at all. Listen, it's an excuse, because when you really are serious about being healthy, when you are really serious about your kids being healthier, you'll go out of your way. You'll make sure that you have snacks in your desk every week. We carry extra nutrition bars in my truck. So if I'm out running around with the kids and it's going to be an hour and a half before we get home, you know, we've got stuff to eat. You're not going to starve. You're not going to skip a meal and go 7 hours without eating. You have to be responsible for your health. And that's the whole key to preventative maintenance. Why wait till you sit in some MD's office and he hands you a report and says, now you're here. Now you have this disease, or now this is wrong with you and it's detrimental from here out. Preventative health care is saying, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit every day so that is never my situation, so that's never a part of my life. You know, do I think eating a healthy, preservative-free cereal is going to change my life forever? No, not eating it once. But I do know that my kids eating that year after year is going to make a difference. Whether it's a little difference or a lot of difference, everything that you do adds up. And the more little steps that you take get you in the right direction. So just don't ever get so complacent, or, I hate to say it, but lazy, and fall into that excuse pattern where it's easier to say, oh, you know, I just don't have time, or it's too hard for me. Listen, I work, I have 3 kids too. You know, on certain days I say, you know, I make extra meals here. We have homemade dinner to throw in the oven tomorrow. You know, I don't have a lot of time for tonight, so I'm gonna make something quickie here. By the time you go through a drive-through, stand in line, get that stuff, come home and feed that to your children, you could have been creative and made something quickie. Maybe it wasn't a fabulous, you know, filet mignon dinner, but homemade tacos are better than anything that you're going to go through a drive-through and feed to your kids. You know, homemade spaghetti on a quickie is better than anything that you're going to go through a fast food restaurant and feed your kids. And if it's hard for you and you're not sure how, investigate. Go out of your way to be healthy. Take some cooking classes. It is amazing when you get hungry and you really, honest to God, want to make that change and make sure that you walk that talk, that you do that so that your children can see it and learn it and live it. It is amazing that what you will come up with. You will find the answers, because it will make a difference in the rest of their lives. You know, that's what it's about.